Welcome to the Health by Haven podcast. I'm your host, Haven Quinlan. If you're a multi-passionate wellness enthusiast, then you're in the right place. I'm obsessed with learning as much as I can about the wellness world, and I want to share that with you. Each episode will dive into various aspects of health and wellness through inspiring and informative guest interviews with some solo episodes thrown in. Tune in for all things health, and let's have some fun, shall we? Today is a bit of a non-traditional guest interview for the H by H pod, but I just couldn't resist talking to one of my longtime best friends. George McCarthy is a London-based content creator and talent manager. In this episode, we chat all about her life in London, working in the fashion industry, and creating content for her Instagram and blog, The Girl Called George. We, of course, also chat about her adorable Cocker Spaniel, Bonnie. While the main focus of our conversation wasn't as obviously in the health and wellness realm as some of the other interviews on the Health by Haven podcast, we do chat about her fitness routine and about how fitness has helped her ease anxiety. In the episode, George provides tips for finding a job you love in an industry you're passionate about to lead to a more authentic, fulfilling life. I can't wait to dive into this conversation with you. I know you're going to love Georgie as much as I do. Thanks so much for joining me on the Health by Haven podcast today. Very excited for a conversation. Georgie's a longtime friend of mine, and so we're just selfishly getting to catch up and chit-chat on this as well. First, I just want to ask how you're doing and give us some updates of your life. I know you just moved.
Yeah, so I just moved to a new flat, still in London, but just a new space and living on my own for the first time, which is exciting. I thought I would be lonely maybe, but I haven't been lonely at all. So I guess that's a good sign.
And you have Bonnie.
Yeah, I have the dog, so I've just been talking to her if I feel like I need some chatting time.
At me when I'm working from home alone.
Yeah. And also, if I need, she always just agrees with everything I say, so it's fine.
Georgie has a really adorable dog named Bonnie, and they're just the cutest little pair. So we'll link to Bonnie's Instagram account as well.
Yeah. So she just got her first paid deal as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, tell us about that.
With a dog food brand, and it's all natural ingredients, super healthy. So it kind of goes with Health by Haven as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'll have to learn more from you
We've
for
been working
waffles.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the waffles would like it too. But.
Yes. Great. Well, Georgie and I grew up together. She's from England, but moved to the States as a kid. And we grew up together in our little kid play group and have been really amazing friends ever since. So I had to have her on the podcast. While she may not have a job specifically in the health and fitness realm, she's definitely still interested in athletics. And I think it will be really fun to hear all about her life in London and her job in the fashion industry. But I want to kind of start from the beginning. So talk to us a little bit about growing up and your life in sport and playing soccer.
Yeah. So of our friend group, I feel like my family was probably the least sporty or into active things. I don't know. But my dad was always a big football fan. And I feel like I tried a lot of sports and I tried dance like you guys were dancing, and it just wasn't for me. I'm just not a dancer, and I've accepted that in my life. I kind of wished I had continued gymnastics because I do feel like that was really fun, and I think I was quite good at it. But obviously, when your friends quit, you want to quit as well. So
yeah,
I kind of landed on, or kind of I guess throughout that was always playing soccer, football for the UK people. And yeah, I don't know, I just really would get into it, very passionate about it. My dad was the one who'd be on the sidelines yelling and cheering us on, and I feel like I was a bit also with the team kind of telling everyone where they should be or what we should do or that kind of thing. Even though I'm not I don't really think of myself as a super leader type person, but at soccer I was okay, someone's got to tell everyone what to do.
Definitely.
And I really enjoyed it. And I do kind of miss it now. I'm oh, I wish I could still play soccer now, which I guess I could, but
Yeah, maybe there's some adult leagues you could join
Yeah,
around.
but probably. I'm sure in London there's like many, but I have not looked into it yet. But yeah, it was, I really enjoyed it. And my brother played as well. So
Yeah, definitely a family sport. I was actually just telling Billy about when we used to play family
family
soccer.
soccer. Yeah.
Yeah. So for background for everyone, all of our like families were really good friends. We were kind of like each other's extended family in Tennessee. And every weekend we would go and play family soccer. So like the kids, the parents, everyone, we like split up to two teams and played soccer and it was so fun.
It was very fun. It was like, I feel like it was also like one of the only experiences that I had where it was like the adults and the kids were so mixed. You know what I mean? It wasn't like kids versus adults. It was like us few kids and us few adults are on a team against the other kids and adults. And it was like very integrated, which was nice and kind of like different from, other like gatherings we had or like where all the adults would sit chatting and all the kids would, it was like we were all together, which was quite nice.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that's like my dad's like my dad's favorite was when we did that.
Yeah, it's good. If you're in a gathering where you're like nervous about the social chit chat, it's a good way to have an activity or just a
Yeah.
great way to get active with your group of friends. If anyone needs some tips
Yeah.
and tricks, try out family soccer. It's a good
Yeah.
time. Also, when we were kids, and I mean still now, but you were very into art growing up and very into fashion as well. So talk to us a little bit about that, how that became like something you were super interested in all the way through like college and beyond.
Well, I think it was kind of an accident. I don't know if you know this even, but in high school, I was accidentally put into an art class. And
Wait, I did not know that.
yeah, I wasn't like planning to take art really. I think I was like, I had chosen something else, but then I was put in art or something because the other class was full.
Hmm.
I obviously ended up loving it, which it's not a shock because my mom is very artistic and creative and always had us like painting as a kid. But I guess I hadn't really thought about it until then. And then obviously like fell in love with it. And then with fashion, I think it was just like, again, another like creative expression. And I was like really shy and didn't really like, other than people that I knew, which I was super talkative with, I wasn't very talkative. And fashion was like a way for me to kind of express myself in high school. And brag led to me getting best dressed. My brag to this day. But no, yeah, I think it was just like, and I was like honestly shocked that anyone in high school knew my name. Like when they called my name on the intercom, I was like, wait, what? People know my name.
Yes, she won best dress for a high school senior
I was like, what?
class.
But yeah, I think it was just like fun. Like it was just again, I didn't have to like talk to anyone, but I could just like wear a cute outfit and like that kind of did the talking for me. And then went to uni and kind of studied art and design, which encompassed fashion as well. And then I did my dissertation kind of around like how what we wear speaks before we even open our mouths. So it kind of like related back to that high school idea. So yeah, I guess that's been like a common thread. It was paintings, my dissertation, but it was about like that was the kind of premise behind it, basically. But yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And we'll link to your blog as well and your Instagram because Georgie does have amazing outfits. If you guys need some inspiration, you can take a look.
So
But
like a good outlet.
yes, yes, definitely a good creative space. So talk to us about like that shift from, well, actually, let's back up a little bit because like you moved to the States as a kid. So like growing up in the States, being from England and going back and seeing like your whole family there and then moving back to London after college, like how did all of that like fit in with your like creative space and how you grew up?
Well, I think I always knew I want like for obviously for to work in fashion, I knew I needed to go to like New York or London. And so that was kind of the plan throughout uni. And I just didn't know, I didn't really know which one it would be, but I kind of got an internship in London and I knew I wanted to stay. And it was an internship in fashion PR. And so I basically just worked really, really hard as an unpaid intern. And then they offered me the job. So I was like, this is what I wanted. I get to stay. the rest is history. So that was over 6 years ago, I think now, which is crazy.
Which is wild because it doesn't feel like you moved away
I
that
know.
long ago. Gosh. Well, how is it like? I mean, it seems like quite a competitive and busy industry. What's it been like working in a couple of different offices and kind of growing through the ranks?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like in fashion, obviously there's like a million girls that will take your place in a second. So you kind of have to fight your corner. And I feel like obviously when you're young, when you're like first starting out, you do feel like really dispensable. Like you feel like
Hmm.
if I don't do this or that, like, I'm not going to make it kind of thing. But I think it helped like having my own creative outlet, even though maybe I wasn't doing the most fun internship and I was running across London with samples and making tea for people above me or like running to get the Vogue magazine from the corner shop, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I, it wasn't the most fun in the beginning. Obviously I was surrounded by beautiful clothes, but I think having my like little creative outlet also helped me kind of like escape from those first few years where you're like just having to work your ass off basically.
Yeah, grinding away.
Yeah.
Share a little bit about your creative outlet, your blog and your Instagram, and how it's evolved.
So it's kind of mostly evolved onto Instagram and social media now. I don't do the blog so much anymore. It's still there. So I'm like, if I want to go back to it, I can.
Yeah.
But I think for me right now, it's just I've seen like the most return on socials and like I find it the easiest to kind of like manage with my like daily work and routine. And also like I just feel like there's endless kind of like opportunity there. And I can, throw on a cute outfit and immediately make and post content like that day,
Hmm.
uh, which is really nice. And obviously with the blog, I could go a bit more in depth and it was a bit more like a diary.
Hmm.
But I think I'm trying to kind of like, I feel like obviously people right now are really interested in, well, like shorter form content.
Hmm.
So especially when it comes to like people maybe aren't sitting down and reading a blog as much. They might be listening to a podcast or like a YouTube video. But I think so yeah, that's why I kind of like transitioned into focusing more on like the socials side of things. But yeah, I don't know. I might go back to it at some point because I did also enjoy doing the writing.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved reading your blog because it felt like we were just chit-chatting too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mom always commented as well. And I was like, that's so
Oh
sweet.
yeah, she's an avid reader. I think every single week on your like Sunday post, she'd be like,
She did actually comment on one of my like reels or something the other day, I
"Oh
think.
yeah, she's moved to Instagram as well."
I know. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Instagram.
What does a day of content creation look like for you?
Obviously, because I have like a 9 to 5 job as well, it's like sometimes it's like on the fly, like I'll do like an outfit just like while I'm out and about. But a lot of times it's like planning ahead. So I'll do like a day where, me and my friend maybe go out and shoot like 5 to 7 outfits in one session, like one few hour session. And then you have like content kind of like ready to go. And we try to obviously do like video and still content. So we have like a lot. So it's a kind of a mix of both. But yeah, it's easier to kind of like make the content in bulk and then plan it out ahead of time. But sometimes it's hard to like get a date in. So you just have to like, you're like, well, I need some content. I guess I'm gonna go out and make some.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. How have you found friends in that creative area that you guys work together?
I've literally made like, especially when I first came to London, I had like no friends. I had one cousin that lived in London, and I was like, like Instagram was like where I was making my friends. I was
Hmm.
like connecting on there, and I'd be like, hey, do you want to go for a coffee? And one of my friends that I did connect with that way is one of the people that we take photos with each other like regularly, and like it's really nice. Her name's Millie. You should follow her as well. I'll send you her account. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like finding people on socials, you kind of feel like you already know them,
Hmm.
but I don't know. But yeah, it makes it easier, I guess, to talk in person because you feel like you have a little bit of background on them.
That's a great tip for people because it is harder to make friends as an adult when you're not like in class with somebody and seeing them every day, creating that community on social.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's hard. Like you have to kind of put yourself out there, but if they have like similar style or similar interests to you, like just say like, do you want to go grab a coffee? What do you have to lose, right?
Yeah, definitely. this might be a hard question because maybe it changes day to day, but how would you describe your style?
I hate this question.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, no, it's fine. I just don't really know how to define it, but I think I really love tailoring. I really love like color, but I wouldn't say I'm like splashed in color all the time, but I'm thoughtfully thinking about like how I can incorporate color because I think with fashion a lot of people fall into the like, oh well, it's just easiest if I just wear neutrals. If I just wear
Hmm.
black or white or cream, and I kind of like part of what I want to show people with my, socials and like with my blog and stuff is that like you can incorporate color and find the colors that really suit you and have a colorful wardrobe without feeling like overwhelmed or like
Hmm.
scared by the color, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I might be like in an all neutral look, like jeans and a neutral top, but then I'll have like a colorful bag or like I always have my nails like
Oh,
super bright
yes.
colors because I'm like, that's just a little touch of like happiness. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I obviously need your styling help because most of my closet is neutrals. So,
It's obviously good to have like a neutral base, but I think once you find those colors that really suit you and make you feel excited, then that's when you like get excited to like get dressed because you're like, ooh, I know this color looks great on me. I got so many compliments in it. I'm gonna, just add a touch of that.
yeah.
Your shoes, might be your bag, might be like just a piece of jewelry, but
And Georgie's Instagram has great advice for that too. You can get some inspo from there. Okay, tell us then a little bit more about your 9 to 5 job and what it's like to work in like fashion PR in London.
so my 9 to 5 is very connected, I guess, to what I do as well because I'm a talent manager. So I manage influencers basically. So I feel like it's good because I have like a bit of insight and like, I've kind of like experimented in that space myself. So I feel like I am quite good in like giving advice or like if they need a creative concept or like if they need help changing their feed, like I can help with that kind of thing rather than just being a manager that sends like, do you want to do this job? Um, I very much focus on like strategy and like how we can transform the aesthetic of like their page or like, if their goal brand is to work with like YSL Beauty, well, these are the steps that we need to take. This is the content you need to make to get to that point. It's very like it's kind of a boutique talent agency. We have a small roster. But yeah, it's kind of like managing their social media campaigns, mostly fashion and beauty, obviously, because that's where my strengths lie and where my client list lies as well. So that's kind of like what I do. It'll be like kind of, like I don't know, like Clinique wants to work with one of my talents, so I kind of negotiate the deal. I might take them for lunch, schmooze them a little bit, like, and then negotiate how much it's going to be and then manage the deal from there.
So is it typically brands reaching out to you or your company you work for, or like the talent, or is it the other way around, like you're pitching the talent to them?
Kind of 50-50. It kind of depends on the talent. If a talent is doing really well, then obviously they get an influx of a lot of interest from brands. Whereas, like, if maybe they're just starting out or maybe they're like having a slow patch, then I might need to do more outreach on my end. So it just kind of depends.
The talents that you work with, are they all social media influencers, or like how did they get their start?
Yeah, it's pretty much all socials. Some of them are also models or like have other things going on. I've also managed like dancers and actresses and things like that as well. There are social media collaborations, but yeah, I mean, a lot of them just like kind of started, and like a lot of them, they obviously have like, you get to a certain point where you have so many followers that like you need help, basically.
Hmm.
So they probably average around like over 2 million on TikTok and like I'd say above 200,000 on Instagram
Wow.
is like kind of, I mean, if I'm looking for a new talent, I'm looking for like those minimum kind of numbers. But obviously some exceed that and some are like a little bit lower than that. But like that's kind of like the general where I know like, okay, you will benefit from my managing skills and I know brands will be interested, basically.
Okay, so you do outreach to some potential clients as well.
Sometimes, yeah. It's like a bit of like push like 50-50. Like we have a lot of talents that come to us because they, see us doing well in the industry, but also if we see someone that we think has great potential, then we'll reach out to them. So
Well, I love seeing all the different events that you're going to in London, and I know a lot of those are connected with your job as well. So talk to us a little more about those.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like a lot of these brands are doing events, and London is obviously like a hub for
Hmm.
like, like the big cities across the world are like where they do these brand events. So London's like a great place for it. But yeah, there's usually like a couple events each week, which is pretty fun. Sometimes it's exhausting.
Yeah.
During fashion weeks, obviously there's like an event every night or a party every night. So it can get to be a lot, but it is really fun and like, yeah, it makes me feel lucky to be in London because I like have such like easy access to these type of things. Whereas like I know if I lived in another city, I probably wouldn't.
Hmm. And which fashion weeks have you gotten to be a part of?
Well, I've done fashion weeks in London, Milan, and Paris. I've never done New York yet, but it's on my to-do list.
Gonna say,
Um,
when are you
and
coming
then,
here?
oh no, and then but I've been to those fashion weeks almost all, you know, for the past 6 years, pretty much. Obviously, when I first came to London, I was on the brand side, so I was kind of like backstage. We were like helping cast models and things like that. And now I'm on the other side where we're kind of like attending the shows. So yeah, it's very interesting. But I've pretty much gone every season, I think, or maybe missed one or two seasons. But so it's twice a year for 6 years.
Do you have a favorite city fashion week or a favorite like brand show that you've been to?
I mean, I favorite brand show. I really love Stella McCartney, which is in Paris. It's a British brand, obviously, but she's like very focused on like sustainability and changing the fashion industry, and like she's been really innovative in like her thinking of how like she makes bags out of like apple leather bags
Oh,
or like
wow.
yeah, or like cactus leather bags or things like that. Like she's just like really thinking outside the box, so it's very exciting like seeing her designs, and usually like really big people walk her shows as well. So probably Stella McCartney might be my best, and also because she's like an English designer, I've followed her for so long. It was quite like special to see her a couple times.
Yeah, definitely. So, obviously, your life is very busy with
Yeah.
work and with all of these events you're going to, and then also managing like your own account and creating content on the daily. So, how do you manage all of that? And then also, I know that. Well, in addition to your dog walks with Bonnie, you also like to go on runs in the morning. So how are you balancing all of that?
Good question. Um, I think obviously it's about like being realistic. There was like a point where I was like trying to run like almost every single day, and like obviously that led to like neglecting other areas in my life. And I think like I'm such a routine person that I kind of got like obsessed with like, okay, I need to run at this time every day, blah, blah, blah. But I think now I've become like, I feel like, okay, if I have to run in the evening, I can run in the evening. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to run every morning. Like it can sometimes be in the evening. Or like, maybe today just ended up being too busy and I didn't get to run today. And that's fine. Like again, I've been on a few, like I've walked Bonnie, you know, in London, I don't have a very big garden, so I do have to like walk her around the block. But also I take her on like at least an hour walk around like the parks every day. So I just kind of have to like be a bit like, I don't know, like how to describe it, like kind of give myself a break sometimes because I think I'm quite hard on
Yeah.
my and for me, like running, I started running during COVID. I hadn't really done any exercise from leaving school, like leaving soccer to COVID.
Hmm.
Uh, it's not like something that really affects, like I'm lucky in that it doesn't really affect my like body or weight that much. But for me in COVID, I needed like an excuse to get outside, and I needed like an excuse to move because obviously I felt very like cooped up, and I think I needed a challenge as well. I did the Couch to 5K app, and then I just like kept doing 5K every day. But I think it like because in my mind I was always like, I hate running. Running's not for me. I'm never gonna run. Like I had decided that for myself. But then I did the Couch to 5K thing, and I actually like it became like my little like escape outdoors and like a good challenge, and like just something that, again, it wasn't really for like in like to lose weight or anything. It was more of like I want to have like a healthy heart and lungs, and like
Hmm.
also just like move my body and like get my blood pumping. And for me, the biggest benefit was like I noticed that it affected my mental health. Like it made my mental health so much better and just like cleared my mind. I was like, my mom has noticed on the days that I run, I'm way less anxious. That's kind of the main reason for me. If I'm like super wound up and like, I'll be like, okay, I need to like move my body, go for a run, you know?
Yeah. Wow. So many great nuggets in there. So, first of all,
Sorry, I just like going on.
no, that's great. I mean, first of all, it's a great encouragement for people who maybe haven't exercised in years. Like you took basically years off, and I'm sure that you like dabbled in different exercises in between, but like from playing soccer in high school and like kind of taking a big break all the way until COVID, like you can get back into things. It's not like the end for you if you've like taken
Yeah.
some time off. And that Couch to 5K app is a great way to like break things down into like bite-sized, like digestible chunks for people who think it's like overwhelming or you have to be like all or nothing and like go from doing nothing to like running a marathon overnight, you know?
I think some people like make the mistake of like they haven't exercised in a while and they're just like, oh, I need to run a 5K. And it's like, no, like ease yourself in. Because if like I feel like people that do that where they haven't run in a long time or ever, and then they just try to run a 5K or whatever, then they're like, oh, I hate running. And it's like, yeah, because you kind of didn't ease yourself in. You just like tried and like obviously it's gonna be hard. Do you know what I mean? Whereas
Right.
like that app really kind of like I mean, it's kind of embarrassing at first because you're like running for like 2 minutes and then walking and then running. But like I think it helped me so much. And I think it helped me learn how to regulate my breathing as well as like other things, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah, because it is challenging, and if you try to like go all in at once, you're right. You could like burn out or get super
Yeah.
discouraged, being like, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, how am I ever gonna be able to run this far?" So I think it's a great digestible way. Also, a great note that like, yes, some people are exercising for like their body composition or to be stronger, and of course, we want healthy hearts and healthy lungs, but the mental health piece is just as important. And yeah, Billy can also tell for sure if it's like a day that I don't
Yeah.
exercise, I'm definitely more prone to be irritable or
Yeah. Same.
stressed or overwhelmed. So it's great that it's helped like managing like anxiety or just feeling overwhelmed about things.
Yeah. I mean, I think like if you look up like how to manage anxiety, I'm pretty sure like exercise or like getting your heart pumping is like the first thing that comes up. You know what I mean? Like it makes such a difference. And people don't even think about it because I think people think there's like a disconnect between like your mind and your body. I don't know, but it's obviously very connected.
Definitely super intertwined. Great tips though of like not feeling like you have to be all or nothing when you have a
Yeah.
busy job and a busy schedule, and just giving yourself a little bit of grace. If it's a day that you need to prioritize work, that's okay, as long as there's another day that you can prioritize yourself as well. So
Yeah.
great advice there. So anyone who's interested in working in the industry you're in, whether it's PR in general or in fashion in general, or kind of a blend of the two, what's some advice you would give people?
That's a hard one. Well, I think like obviously you just have to be like resilient and you know, obviously in this industry there is a lot of people who will like try to tell you you can't do it or like I don't know, kind of like put you down or like say that you don't fit in here or like you should be doing this or you should be doing that. But I think it's about like resiliency and just like being having the courage to just like keep going. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like like I said, like in the beginning it's not easy and like it's not super fun. But like if you put in that hard work and you kind of like stay true to yourself and work hard, then people are going to see that and people are going to see also like if you're a kind, genuine person, like this industry obviously comes with a lot of not very genuine or nice people and like people that are fake. But I think like people can see through that and people can see that if you are a really nice, good person, then they're gonna see that. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna come out at some point if someone's being fake, you know?
Definitely. And we're all drawn to that genuine, kind human interaction. That's great
I
advice.
think so.
Okay, I just have some final wrap up questions. The first one's probably easy for you. What's your favorite workout?
Probably running, but like I do also really love swimming. I try to swim like once a week to give my body a rest from the running.
Yeah.
And it also is like working out more of my body than just my legs, you know what I mean? Or like I guess it's a more full body. Like I notice my arm, I feel it in my arms or like my back when I do swim, and I usually just do like a 30-minute, like I'll do like laps, like breaststroke or something. So it's not like super intense, but I can like feel it working my whole body, which is nice. So those are probably like my top two. But I like to try other things. I've recently tried Pilates and like I like yoga and stuff like that as well. So
Yeah. And you did swim growing up too, so it's probably fun to get back into the pool. Yeah, I would love to find a gym with a pool nearby. That's lucky that you have access to one. That's great.
yeah, it is really nice. And it's indoors, so like if it's too cold, then I can still swim, you know.
Yeah, or rainy in London.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite food?
This is hard. Again.
Hard-hitting
Uh,
questions.
yeah, seriously. I mean, I feel like if we're talking like food, like a dinner, I feel like I usually crave like pizza. I don't know, that's
Mm,
probably like one of my best. And
hmm
again, I feel like you can like do so many different like toppings and stuff. It's very customizable. But I'm like a big fruit person. Like I've always really loved strawberries, like chocolate covered strawberries if I want to make it special. But yeah, fruit in general, I really enjoy.
What about, are there any new products or wellnessy trends or things that you're into lately that we should check out?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like in London, because of like all the tennis, like obviously Wimbledon and like Challengers, the movie that just came out, I feel like everyone's playing tennis. So I'm kind of like itching to try tennis again. So
Yeah.
maybe that's a good one to like I'll give a go and like report back how it goes.
Is pickleball as big there?
I think it is becoming a thing, but I didn't really see anything about it until I came to the US like in May.
Yeah, it's huge
What is
here. I
pickleball?
haven't tried it though. So,
It looks kind of fun. Someone said that it was like an easier version of tennis, and I was like, okay,
hmm
maybe I need that.
yeah, I think I need to start with that. I love tennis, but I'm
Yeah,
terrible at it.
same, yeah. But yeah, I feel like that's like the big trend in London right now is tennis. Everyone's like, going back to playing tennis. And now
Yes.
the weather's nice, so that helps.
Yes, that definitely helps. Okay, we've got some rapid fires. Are you ready?
Probably not.
They're not hard. They're not hard.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Morning or evening workout?
Morning for sure.
Running or walking?
Running. It's hard. I like both. I
Yeah,
do both a lot.
you can say both. That's okay.
Yeah.
Lifting or body weight workouts?
I don't really lift anything, so body, I guess. I probably
In
should. But
indoor or outdoor workouts?
I say outdoor because I run faster and it's easier for me being outdoor, I think.
Definitely.
Treadmill I find kind of challenging sometimes.
Yeah, agreed. Mentally, it can be long.
Yeah.
Juice or smoothie?
Smoothie,
Coffee or matcha?
coffee. But London, there's a place that does a really good blueberry matcha, which is life-changing.
Oh, okay. Well, next time I visit, we're going there. Sounds
Yeah,
great.
it's honestly so good. Everyone's obsessed with it,
Good to know. You'll have to tell me what it is, and I can link them.
Called Blank Street. I'm surprised they might have one in New York. I'm
Wait,
not
they
sure.
do. There's one like a street over for me.
Hey, get yourself there and get a blueberry matcha, please, and report back.
I know what I'm doing later. Okay, salad or bowl?
Bowl.
Pizza or pasta?
This is hard. But pizza. But I love both.
I know that one might be the hardest one for me. Tacos or quesadilla?
Tacos. I had shrimp tacos last night. I made them.
Oh, look at you.
Say with a little like lime mayo dressing. So good.
Sounds amazing. If I ate shrimp, I would eat that. Early riser or night owl?
I feel like I'm somewhere in between, but maybe more leaning towards the early riser.
Yeah, I guess in your industry, you have to be a night owl sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you do. But I try to get up at 6 a.m. That's my routine right now. Walk the dog, then go on my run, then start getting ready, start the day.
Yeah, sounds like a great morning to me. Okay, well, tell everyone where they can follow you and then anything else, any new projects that you're working on that you want to share with us, anything else, any last words?
Yeah, I mean, my socials are all at the girl called George. Bonnie's is the dog called Bonnie, if you want to follow her. For any dog lovers out there. But yeah, I mean, I think for now, obviously, I'm kind of like settling into my new house and like finding where is best to do content and things like that. But hopefully, a lot of summer content to come. I have a couple work trips, one to Mykonos and one to Croatia. So I'll be giving some holiday content if you're looking for like beachy holiday inspo.
Yeah, we'll definitely want to follow along with that and just live vicariously through the trips. And definitely want to follow Bonnie because she's adorable. Thanks so much for joining today. And I can't wait to get this out in the world. I think people will really love to hear all about you and everything London and fashion.
Hopefully a little bit less running based, but still a little bit of running sprinkled in.
Yeah, still a runner, still a runner. Thanks, George.
Thanks, David.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Health by Haven podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and leave a review. It makes such a huge difference in reaching new people and spreading the joy of healthy living. I would also be so appreciative if you subscribe to the show in the listening app of your choice so you never miss an episode. Your support truly means the world to me. Have a happy, healthy day, and I'll talk to you again soon.